early morning. It was 9 minutes on Monday, October 22nd. No matter what you do in life, that you look at, I was born in 1982. 1982. I'm 35 in 2018. I'm about to be 36 next month on the 15th. And you come to a place in your life, you look back. I'd ever talk about the past. I always say the past is the past. That shapes, molds you, grows you. You're groomed. You make choices. You have decisions. You have your responsibilities. You're accountable of yourself, who you are, you become. You're born. You're learning. Everything imaginable about your past. What is the past? What occurs in the past? Why is the past so important? But the main thing that happens is when you are birthed to this earth, you start receiving in a way unlike no other. Once that embryo says it, it, it starts sending information from the seed to the embryo and it start creating who you are, you start receiving right away. I was to say stupid analogies, but we never put our mind. That's what happens. I wasn't I didn't just know this automatically. It didn't just happen. It took a pro. That's pro is to go forward. It's a move. It's a actual action. Going forward is an action as you are becoming a being now. Now life is being created. Life is being created. You still moving forward. You're receiving, and it goes through the whole process. They drop you finally in this wonderful lady's womb. Now you are living being. Once that happens for 9 months, sometimes it can be early, sometimes it could be a little bit late, based on 8 months, 9 months, or 10 months. Sometimes 11 months. Sometimes some people come out with 7 months. They're still here to this day. Whenever your cycle of being complete as a baby is said, it's done. You're receiving. And you're receiving through the umbilical cord. That's the cord that allow you to sit in the womb. That's safeguarded. You're protected through the mother. The father is there for backup. Or another person is there for backup, just in case. You're still receiving. Then you are born to this earth. One thing I always looked at is like once you're born, now you're birthed. Life now. Now you are part of the cycle of life. Every being before you, that's the past, have done the same thing you have done to get to this earth. It took that man to put a seed into that woman. Embryo, it's an egg. And the egg dropped off and fell into her womb. And within there, the cycle of life begins. Then I'm bringing up the past because now, and I'm receiving. I start out of the womb. I'm boom, receiving all types of information, people around me, everything. Now I get to see and hear more. I can see and hear in the womb, but I was seeing and hearing the same thing for 9 months. And whatever it was that I was hearing different things. My parents around me or whoever had me, and people was there, I can hear them. And now I can see and hear. And what I'm doing, I am receiving what is in front of me. I'm not receiving nothing I created, nothing I built, I formed yet. I have no knowledge of. All my knowledge comes from the outside sources that is around me. I'm saying it like this because I have so far in 35 years, I understand this at least. I know if I get around other people, I will receive something different. I never learned or I was never shown. But I know as a constant or insistence, I can receive also what was already here. That's what happened. That's why I wanted to speak on this. Lately, I've been thinking about that. We're just doing and we're saying what somebody else have said and done, literally moving forward. But we are now trying to take what's moving forward and make each person garnish or fashion or the faucet to build up the game to understand knowledge the same thing. And that's really hard. It's not impossible. There's no can'ts because it can and it's possible and it can be easy. But I learned like we don't all learn the same. We all do not receive the same information at the same rate. That's why being an assembly of people can hurt you and not being an assembly. And I'm learning I don't need to be in an assembly of people to learn. I just need, for me, key assemble personnel to, I snap my finger because it's like break me out of what I need. Help me get to where I need. Now at 35, I can do study and all this research and I get stuck. I'm very creative, but I know somebody else has another, we're unique. And this is why I know the spirit in me, my mission, my focus, my purpose, mission, and position is to guide and challenge. Because I am truth, I am success, I am resolve resolution. And I am very honest, truly at heart. I didn't need somebody, if anything, and this is what I learned as well. I don't need a lot of what people do or say now to making the power of oneness. The I am the being, the me, the I, the self, the mind. I don't need people to guide or kind of challenge me on that. So I'm pretty much within myself that I do that. But it's based off that who was around me. They didn't even have and the spirit works with them as well. They didn't have to say nothing about how I am. I didn't have to tell me, man, that was stupid when I argued. I didn't have to hear that. Because based off of them, that kind of like that did kind of shape and help me maturate, build, grow, create, form, and my understanding to who I am today at 35, Otto Williams Jr. But I learned there is also another part besides the people that you initially firstly, you're going to start meeting other people that's like I spoke of that learned different, that was taught different. My saying for them was it's great. It's a positive and a negative. I use positive as what's in my reach my level, my point, my plane, my plateau of control that is positive. Everything around me, within me, I can control. And within my area, I can control as well. Outside of me, I have no control. I call that the void, and that's negative. It has nothing to do with the person, the object, the place, or the thing. When I use negative, I will let you know as we have determined to go forward based on what I have gained knowledge of since I've been alive. It would count as, is it good or bad negative? Because people say there's no good negative. I understand in the realm of positive versus negative, you put all negative in there, it's going to be bad. It's going to be negative. It's not going to be of good nature. Now, you add some good, those negatives have a possibility of becoming good, of becoming correct, or not even correct. Positive, come into the noun, I'm going to say good, right. And that's a lot of an argument. We're saying you're not right or wrong, but you can be right or wrong for that person. Then we use other words like judging. See, I don't hear that as much no more because we realize judging, and here's a word, I'm gonna have to use the con. It's conducive. Induce. It's deducive, reducive, like reduce. Like you're gonna take, it's taken away. That's negative. I have no control over it. That's the void I cannot control. But I know it don't. If it's not pro, it's not helping me. Anything for me that's not pro, it don't help. You can put pro into any word. But also now this is the nitty gritty of it. This is what we negate. We're using the same words that everybody else use. Example EI. Now here's all my examples. A word like narcissist was taught through a form of learning of human life called psyche. So the understanding, the building and the study for it is called psychology. And when you start breaking it down for people in their mind, it's psychological. So you got the psyche that's based off the human life. Then you have psychology. Lology is the study of. Co is to bring out, to understand. Correct? And this is all taught. This is all taught. I read the dictionary. I read the definitions of the end part of the words and the beginning part of the words. And what I already knew without reading the definition. But that was already here before me. There's nothing wrong with that. But what we have to do now in our psychological, and our psychology is determine what is ducive to you. What can you take away and can you move forward in? What is pro and what is deuce? Do you need to go away? Do we need to stick on that? Do we need to come back? Example is now I'm not a social media follower, but we have a black YouTube. I was put onto it. It's great and not great. The most common thing in my first day of it is it's a work for our people. When I speak of our people, mainly when I talk, I'm only dealing with my skin color, my race of people that's similar to me. I'm not going to say like me or as me because they're not. More people were they were diverse in colonization. I don't use, when I want to use bringing together, I would say multicultural. That means you're going to build and grow and help advocate and start promoting greatness. But so far in my journey, I like to ask questions. For the first time, I'm getting more responses. Like I like to talk to black men. I like to talk to black women, quote unquote. I say African descent or indigo. When I say, now you know that's the key word. I'm going to use indigo, African descent, but mainly indigo because it's a shorter word. I love talking to indigo men and women that understand. We're trying to understand now what's already here. We're not trying to recreate. I don't want to do all of that. That's me. You got people out there that's doing that but not saying it, and I noticed that as well. Trying to recreate what was already there. And one thing I hate now, this is my thing. I hate this. The past don't matter, or the past did happen, but now it depends. Now it has to be determined by the group what is acceptable. That's what I hate as well, because we can accept one way but won't accept the other way. And I notice within my race of people, indigo men and women, what acceptable is the same things that we hate. Hmm. We accept the same things we hate. Now, that's through psychology. I'm not a psychology studier, but that is from just a great observation that I have. We accept the main things we hate. But I say that like this: we challenge words and understanding, but we're not doing it in a contrast, a comparison way to be better. We're just looking for a rightness. So to be righteous instead of to be a guided. And I notice with I say it's a work because we are working, but it's going to be a work because every individual have to understand you are an individual. We haven't realized that. So my race of people, first we have to realize we are all individuals. As I see, you may not see the same way, but your help, your guidance, your perspective can be now pro tonight, not inducive. I don't have to take from you to move forward or to gain. You can jot into my understanding. Wow, I never thought about it that way. But if you always just want to win and be right and be take away, you need me to be on your no. And then one thing I notice is we don't respect one another. We don't advocate for one another. And if you don't fall into a certain group, you still separated and divided. I'm just bringing up statements because I'm gonna do like an individual one as I keep understanding. Probably won't be into another week because week on by week basis. How now I'm trying to join a community that's still only neighbors. As I tell them, I'm not a community. I'm not. I'm part of your neighbor because what I found so far, the '90s, the '80s shaped us. The people that I'm talking to, our parents birthed us through that eras. Now we in the 2018, the 2000s, the 000 of 2000, the now we in the 18. So you're about to be in the 20s near 2020. So right now we in the tens, the teens. It's still early about the people, my race, indigo people, men and women. We're still finding out about information that was the past. And we're still using the same information. So we're going to utilize the same information. We got to take some little bit more time now before we say anything to one another in a sense. In a sense, I say in a sense because we got five: see, smell. That we know what they call it: see, smell, hear, touch. We understand senses. So it required just more than one stage, one sense to say it's common. We talk about common sense. It's not common. Anything we do is only common if you can. What's going to make the census? It's going to be more than one group. It was not just more than one civilization when we first started. As you can see, it's five races of people broken down into many other nationality and ethnicities. So one time, like, we gotta understand, we gotta break. Now, this is what I hate about the past. A lot of things in the past should not be used for the future. That's why I say the past is the past. Your present is your now. It's a gift. Your future is not determined, but it's planned and prepared for. You can't predict the future. You can paint up a player. So for June 10th, 2018, I'm preparing to save money to June 10th, 2019. That's my greatest example. I'm reaching a goal of $1,000, and I could be on a path or not, but I know that was what I said on June 10th, 2018. It is October 22nd, 2018. So you got July, August, September. That's 4 months. And now, in 10 days, 12 days, how far have I got? And that's what we need to do. We cannot be like, one day, it's going to solve everything. And we got to understand what I learned on the Black YouTube, or what we call it, quote unquote black, that's what they call it. But as I listen to my indigo people, men and women, it's a big divide and separation, but we're not. And I want to bring that up. There's a big divide and there's a big separation. That it's going to be a lot of that in the beginning, because we're trying to understand one another. We're trying to gain knowledge from one another, but we got to allow that to happen. And no, and if we're gonna, and I notice we just like to use words. That's what made me want to talk about the lie, like the word narcissist, based on information. That's a controlling mind. Don't matter what they're feeding into, only themselves. They're gonna care. Then they're not. They don't care. They're gonna push it, push it, push it. It's their way, no way. There's no other options. They can turn into a great person if they can see, but they're not going to see at that time. However long they're going to be that's created. That word created that person. That person did not create that word. Let me say that again. That word created that person. That person did not create that word. Because if the person created the word, we understand that word only have power when we give power to it. That word only have power when we give power to it. When we give power to that word, that's when that word become powerful. Powerful, understanding power only goes in the direction you tell it to go. If you don't tell it to do anything, it does nothing. It's just like an ability, a talent, a gift that you don't give it nowhere. You don't bring it forward. You don't produce it. You don't create. If you don't do nothing towards it, it sit there. It's not bad sometimes if we just sit there. And we got the notion that we have to do. No, I don't have to do. If it sit there, it is okay. But it depends on the pro we're at. How far did we move forward? So for my people, the indigo men and women, it's 50 years out of a movement that helped. So we can talk like this right now. Let's respect that. That's pro. Let's be on that level. Let's just sit there. We haven't got a pro and we don't got a deuce or a pro. Let's sit right there sometimes. And let's stay in that and brainstorm. let's sit in that mode when we're doing like we're just sitting there with one another. Let's look at one each other. That's a great thing we can do. And I learned a lot of small things that can be important. A lot of small like so when we go into topics and we just think on small things. Like that's why I focus on dignity. Everybody perception of dignity gonna be different. The way I was treated in my life is different. The way you respond to me is different. But it's also based off your past as well. Like experiences can change. Because every experience can be different. But you gotta allow it to be different. You can't say my experience is different from your experience. Because in your thoughts, okay, and for let's use the example. EI, it's an example. I'm gonna say start saying EI, that means example. Everybody will let's say a person married, another person married. Each marriage is under the same outline. Because they all earthly, better or worse, be there, rich, poor, all that good stuff, the vows and all of that. But every marriage is not going to imply the same pro. The way they move forward, or the way they now, if you use the word deuce, so I want to induce or reduce what's in my marriage, they're not going to run the same way. And that's scary because under EI of our race of people, indigo men and women, we expect all of it to find, we call it code. But I'm going to use plain text and say, we all expect it to go the same way. But I'm two different people, become one with my wife, EI, another woman and man, one with their each other. Everybody, but under the same outline, the most common thing that we should all have for each one another is respect. Hopefully, love. Because I'm learning like love, if you're talking about building and growing and creating, people don't want to use that. People using that like that's for me, that's not a power. That's not an ability. You could get more if you enjoy time with me, under all understanding, the way I smell, the way I talk to you, the way you receive me, the way I receive you, you're more likely to want to do whatever it is, want to do, you're doing, than just, I'm only doing this because this is going to work this way. It's no joy in there. Now I'm going to start using other words. There's no joy. I'm going to use a main word. There's no love. You get it later, but in the beginning, when I met you, I want to be able to enjoy you. That's why I would marry you. Not so much that the time. I'm not thinking time. I don't have a time frame. Because when you add time, you start actually reducing what can be great, what can be better, how bigger it can get bigger, but you gave it a time. It because then when you reach what you do is the negative because you don't want you took the control out of it. If no time, if I use in this scenario, this EI, no time, everything I want can happen because within me, I can control it. But when I put a time, I lost it. It became negative because I have to live closer by that time I gave than just no time was being there. Yeah, you can have a set place. I'm not saying throughout there shouldn't be set things that's placed there because you do want to gauge, you want to move forward, you want to pro. You should have that, but that shouldn't be your main. That shouldn't be like that priority. That shouldn't be the glue. That shouldn't be the stronghold. Time shouldn't be the end all, begin all. Because not for us, even in life cycle, our death is not the begin all, end all, is it? They say your life end naturally, D- but your life ended. Now, while you're here, what are you putting into the earth? What are you putting into the people? How I treated her compared to how another man treated her, I can't get that back, nor her. But she will, in her psyche, in her pro, understand if in her power and ability, we were two different men. And I fasted myself on pride. Like I did that. Yep. When I left compared to when you left, it looked totally different. I took this, and if we're cleaning, I'm a cleaner. I took the smudge off the wall that was there. I removed the marks on the floor that was there, even though it wasn't part of my assignment or duty that day. But it was in my range. It was in my moving forward. I was able to see. I didn't want to take away because I could have left it there. It wouldn't have been no problem. It wouldn't have been nasty. It just looked different from when I did leave it there or when I did not leave it there. I had to come to some under. I'm coming to understandings, and I have to accept and be okay. Because if I stay in that time frame, I gave it a time, I won't be able to move forward. I won't have a pro. A job. First, you start off as a job, get a career, then it's a profession. So you can become a professional at your whatever you're choosing to do. It's a gang. You're going forward. Your ability is changing. And if it's not, then it is okay to stop. If you're not moving and you already gained some ability, I for me, that's a you are a success. And you learn more, so your success, that's why I am. That's why it's important to me. Challenge and guide you. This is what we're gonna feed off of each other. So if I'm feeding from you, that was a successful. I fulfilled some part of that now. It's a now. See how now I'm doing it? Not my past, not my future. It's a now. It's a present. It became a gift. Now I just received. And if anything, I hope that helped because we're not doing that. We got to allow each other to receive. We got to allow life to happen. I'm going to say there is a time, but we got to allow time. We got to give it no time frame. If it was thousands and thousands of years of what we've been under subjection, we've been subjected to, and now we're still doing it to one another. My biggest hurt and takeaway, my life wasn't hard. It was hard, but it wasn't hard. My life was hard as anybody else's life that made their life or came in, birthed into this earth. Your life, and I say, when I say unto one, I say unto all. Your life is no different from no one else's life. Let's just start doing this. Now get this through your head. Now you can take it or leave it. I'm not the one hurting you. So I'm gonna say this. And I have to say this to myself. We like to use what they give us, or like the narcissist. So the cliche, you can't walk in my no, I can't walk in your shoes. I'll wear a size 14 if you wear a size 6. My feet it will be hurting starting off. I don't even have the same fair bench that you have. Now if you stand in my size 14, you're gonna be okay a little longer than me. But what you're gonna have to do, you're gonna have to compensate for that extra room in that shoe. I have no extra room to start off. I am already bunched up. You already being stretched out too far. Hmm. You see how that helps me now? So if you bunched up, I'm stretched out too far. And when you speak, you might challenge me to receive instead of deuce pro. You might challenge me to pro, then the deuce The pro is to forward, the deuce is to take away. I might be able to do both. Like now I need to add on because you wear a size 6. And you need to take away because I wear a size 14 and you that size 6. Or a 9, whatever number you have. I got a 14 shoe. And most of the people are not going to be wearing a 14 shoe. And most of the people are not going to be taller than 6'5". So we got to come to some fair understanding for each other. Is it fair to say? And that's what I was going to mention. Are we going to be fair first now? Because to garnish respect, we have to be fair. It is fair that the young man, this is my EIA example of, I grew up, my environment could have shaped me, but it didn't because I had people in my life. You may have, but they may not have been as strong, or they might not have challenged you. They might not have truly guided you. They wasn't a parent, they wasn't a guardian. I understand that. But I'm not going to overlook, I'm not going to give you no badge of honors, and I'm not going to let your logic, your psyche tell me you are okay and I'm not, or vice. I'm not going to allow myself to do that to you. I'm going to try to come to an understanding like, damn, that's effed up. We did do that to one another. So in my I and, and it's so funny how we even, I brought up the word narcissist, we use the word alpha and beta. So easy. We so quick to call coon bed wenches. Like it's like we so quick to call each other names without doing any understanding of that person. I don't want to call you a name. I don't want to call you nothing but who you are, which you can't see sometimes. I would rather just be quiet. If you can't see that you're a good man or a good woman, I have to digress. I'm gonna deduce. I'm gonna reduce my words to you. I'm gonna try to find a way to say what I need to say to you, or don't say nothing at all until you gotta pro. You gotta move forward to your understanding and knowledge. All I can do is have some type of recommendations. I can challenge you. I can put out like words like talking to the people, like the commentary. It jot my memory of some things. I may be thinking about it, but I may not be fully utilizing it. That don't mean I didn't know. It's all things that I want to know. It's importance to me. And the little intricates may not be as important. But those things may be needed because then that could be stopping me from moving forward. But having more of a power, more of ability. And I found that me birth and born that way. My parents and my mother was there. My father was there at first, and my mother was there by herself. My my aspect and perspective of life is different. What I've been through is going to be totally different. I don't fit the group. I don't fit the next group. I don't fit the next group. Because what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be deduced by me, who I am, what I know, my experiences, and how I sound, how I talk. That's a lot of senses there. So it's a lot of senses to each of those groups. They're going to pick out what first we do, and we're taught this. We pick out the negative. And that's great because that's to explain what people do. They're not hating on you. That's dumb. They're picking out the outside. They cannot control what you do not have. Just say it again. They're not hating. They're picking out what you do not have like them. They cannot control what you do not have. You cannot control what they do not have. But at the same time, I'm not going to let that young man forget. I was not, and we got to understand, I'm not going to like not let him forget, but I wasn't doing that. While you was doing this, I was doing this. I was watching you. We were walking the same, I was born in the same neighborhood, per se. If you say you was born in the hood, most of us was born in the hood. We was not born in a great area. Our parents didn't have some great wisdom. They had great experiences, that made sure a lot of us look how we all are able to come to a operating system on a computer, a PC platform, and talk to one another, and understand there's many people out there that can't even conduce that. They can't even cast over that understanding. They cannot compare. But that's what I look at as me. I am the example inside of the example. That's why I said I had to come to terms to accept. And you can call me whatever name you want. I am not looked at the same way. I am the height, the statue of that cliche, the tall, dark, and handsome. But after a while, as I get older, I am 35. There are other 35-year-old women I would like to seek out for marriage, love. And that's my choice. It can be fostered, pushed, garnished, and breeded in me to only want that. But after a while, I had to make a decision. Just like that young man was making a decision to sell drugs to the neighborhood. It's not a diss. We can't even talk about this in the light to understand no more. And that's what I had experienced the first day. Like, okay, I can talk to y'all. Even though the people that I know, they didn't truly receive me, but I was least, and I had to do it. They didn't see, and this is what make me why I love who I am. This is what make me who I am. I was able to put aside of what they still, and I know they was doing it. I know they was, but I had to say, okay, I had to come to where they were at. And there's things I said when I started speaking one on one with them through a online chat or whatever to other people. They saying the same thing to me. Like I didn't forget it. It's just that when I get into one on one, I'm like, I'll notice this. They're like, I noticed this as well. And they could have been the person that was in those other groups that was not agreeing, but at least we was able to respect and have a conversation and talk. That's what I love for the first time. That I know your view, but I'm more over here towards him because I kind of like did the same thing. You made it different. So I'm not around the people that, how to say this, because that's why I hate religion, I hate churches, and I hate people that love the doctrinations that don't even allow your mind to expand. And we could tell we all under that trance still, because the person I am is least likely to get acceptance. I'm going to use that word because I already used it already. I'm least likely to have the acceptance because of what my life was like compared to theirs. I don't use my what I've been through as hmm. At the time, I don't have the word for that, but they're going to incite their what they've been through as very difficult. They had no control over, just like what I've been through. I have no control over, but I can change my mind because it's my choice. My choice. I am choosing to accept that they already in. They already. This platform was there. I don't follow social media. I don't have all these channels and things. I don't keep because my assembly of men it has to be not as long. My assembly with other people, long as I do it, I'm good. I don't need it for a long time frame. I make good understanding. You might, for me, I know I just meet people just to get a new understanding to make contact. It's over 7.5 billion people on this earth. One person not being funny in this type of understanding do not determine all my knowledge in life. It's a season. I use a lot of cliches and already doctrinated and words, wordplay, cliches, phrases, scriptures, religions, understandings, whatever it's here. I use that a lot because that's what was shown to me. And it's some new things that's shown to me that what I'm doing now, what I'm doing is more of a pastime that we have not done. Do you remember reading your first book? And a lot of information was in the book, so you started writing it down. 5 years later, you find yourself like, hold on, it's some things I need to do. And I learned what I did in the beginning, I still have to do in the end. Because it's my journey. Because on my way, I have to make decisions. He made his decision. I'm not going to hold him down for his choices or her choices in life, but I'm not going to allow them to take away. But when we come with respect, do you realize you did do that? And this is, if we're going to use, I don't want to contradict. I don't want to trick you to a translation of verbiage, a usage of what is meant to be to break you or to build you. You have a choice. Your journey. And on that journey, it's you have marks, level, plateaus, things you want to reach, want to do. So in this grouping of this conversation, our journeys and path was different. But on to all, which we are saying, we came to a respect. But I know we didn't come to a full acknowledgement because I know I wasn't acknowledged. Because when the other man spoke, he was uplifted. All they seen from me, okay, I can see the hurt and the pain of why you feel that way. That was the only thing they garnished, and I can respect it. I have to leave it at that. They don't see the full plight of what I just said. But this is the beginning. But at least we didn't. We was adults. They didn't fight me, and I kind of like, and me being an understander, I kind of deflected the anger away because I didn't allow me, and it kept. And then the way the conversation went, my attitude was now I'm going to take away to what they don't have. Let's say it again. My attitude was induced on what they didn't have, reduced. I had to take back because I know I have the power. I am being positive. Now, if I was being negative, I could have said, F that. That's not true. It didn't go that. And when you do and I learned that because I watched another live. And it's this one guy, he always do that. I would love to talk to him one on one. And be like, that's not positive. Every time you get in an argument, he said, and the guy's like, I noticed something. You always the same one. He was joking and being serious at the same time. But he stayed positive. That's why he was not able to lash out at the man. That's a reduction of your anger. See, we have nuggets, we have remnants, but it's who you choose to follow because it's your choice. But that's why I like the word wiseness. You have to be wise. Choose wisely. I had to choose wisely. This time, it's not ready for this. It's not ready for the full blown because I'm new. This is the beginning. And they always heard negative because the dude was still getting negative. But by me inducing, being positive, and now I'm pro. I'm going forward because time don't matter to me. If it take me 8 years, I'm gonna take 8 years because it took me 8 years. It didn't take. It may not took them 8 years to be where theirs at, but it took me 8 years because that's who I am. That's who I am. I don't know who they are. Probably my greatest gain is probably is just this internet helps, this platform helps to get understanding. But I like to finish off saying I did not receive the same things that this man receives. Even in his negative state, and I was being positive throughout my life, and it's part of his life where he was being negative and he was hurting people, destroying families. I'm not gonna hold against him now. Years later, he have children. Now he see and understand that he is working at, and we gonna start from there. But we not gonna allow each other to be taken. I'm not. But then I have to be accepting. See, this sound funny. You have to be. You know how, and I want to say to all young men and women, you know how strong that is. Let's think about this. You are the art, the master and controller of yourself. I use certain words, but and please listen because you are taught and nurtured a certain way. See, I didn't use one word that you are always taught about yourself. That the word is authority. I didn't use authority for a reason. I'm not going to use that. I'm just going to say control over yourself. You are the positive. Now, if you know anything, young men and women and adults, men and women, indigo men and women, I don't use certain words on purpose. Because when I use those words, those words were guided, they was fostered, nurtured, and breeded into you to feel a certain way. I use that one word, master. You are the master. Master is self-control. You gotta look this. If you look it up, you will see. I won't use the other words. I would not say you the author of yourself because I know what was already put into you. Whether you subjected yourself to see differently and change, you induce. If you induce yourself to see, I'm very proud of you. Even these word proud and pride, you're gonna look at them different when I say them. But if you did that, but if you didn't, I respect you on your account of who you are and what you know and what you have. So I won't say those words because I know how that will. I don't know how positive you are. Remember, positive is what you can control. Negative is outside of you. You had no control over. I have no control over those people, and they created a group already, and I am new. They don't understand me, but all they're gonna do is go off because now they're in a group. They don't have an offset of a person because their minds is going to be similar. My minds is not similar to theirs. So I'm coming into a group that's going to stick together. I'm an outsider. Don't matter how much I look like them. See, I'm understanding this. See, I know how. See, even when I mentioned they was speaking, I said that's a trick or no. I just remember. I don't remember the actual words, but I remember that I put in hashtag to outline it. That's the art of war. And literally, when I said that, they didn't even realize it, but they all did it. But they read the chat. They heard me. And I wasn't even mad. I just smiled. The art of war, they all piggyback literally off what I wrote. They didn't even realize it. And whether they read or not, they words didn't come after until I wrote that. They said they read your work. I was like, soon as he said that, my mind went into what I know. I said the art of war, the art of war, command and conquer. That's gonna be another time. That's probably gonna most likely be my next one. Then go into how we can help one another, how we can be pro or deuce. So when it be positive, when it be negative. It is a time and place to be negative because that requires you now. When you're more positive, you're kind of more offensive. You're able to counter and challenge in a certain way. When you're defensive, you're just blocking off. You don't need a violence, you just need a block. So the easiest way, real quick, is to have a be offensive. I can turn this platform on every single day. But if it's not helping to me, I need to be defensive and I don't need to turn it on every day. I don't need to listen every day. But I'm gonna be both now, but within me, since I'm being positive, I need to be there to understand. I want to be around to understand. Even if I don't get the full thing, that's me. I don't need the full thing to get to understand that. I just need it because you work yourself. When I get done with these lives and things of that nature and working hard mentally, I become mentally tired. I need a mental rest. And within my life, I have freedoms within myself. I know I'm 35. I'm not hurt. I know I can't. I know a lot of things can happen to me to up to when I'm to 65. But I'm not going to allow that. That's a future. Not so. I'm not hard on that. I will speak upon my future for greatness because I am greatness. I am made for greatness. Because within my positive and good morals, values, and ethics, I can work on my future. And what I have, all these groups that's already built up may need, or I can juggle something in their brain. Be like, okay, I think about that, but am I fully thinking about that? That's what I tell myself. So you be great within yourself. Keep affirming, reinforcing, empowering, good and positive. I love me. I am great. I am stronger than I used to be. Now I'm moving forward. No negative is in that. All good, all positive for you. Then you can work on the little intricacies. Why I love myself. How am I greater? How did I become stronger? Those are all like this. We call them they the little intricate things. We call them the intangibles that nobody can see. You can see your tangibles. I can see how tall you are. I can see if your hair cut or brush. I can see what clothes you have on. I can see what's on your feet. I can see how your feet look. I can see how your nails and hands look. But the intangibles, I can't see your insides. I can see all of your positive. I can't see your negative. That's out. I can see in this case, your outside can be your negative, and your positive can be your inside. I don't know your positives yet. I can see all your negatives because that's what we're looking at, the outside of who each person is. And once we can understand and get past that, we'll be great. We will be great. Shalom.